What if I told you that gardening is more powerful than a treadmill? Beyond just moving your body, it nurtures your mind, sharpens your memory, and even strengthens your heart. Imagine trading gym machines for sunshine, soil, and the joy of watching life bloom right in your backyard. Before we dig in, what's your favorite thing to grow? Flowers, herbs, or veggies? Share it in the comments, and let's see whose garden is the most inspiring. Meet Dorothy. She's 74, a grandmother of 4, and she swears her roses keep her healthier than her vitamins. Dorothy doesn't run on treadmills, and she's not a fan of gym memberships. But every morning, she puts on her garden gloves, steps outside, and spends an hour tending to her flowers and vegetables. She bends, she stretches, she laughs with neighbors passing by, and she says it's the best part of her day. What makes Dorothy's story powerful is how simple it is. Gardening isn't just about plants. It's about movement, purpose, and joy. It's about staying active without realizing you're exercising. It's about keeping your mind sharp as you plan, nurture, and remember what needs tending. And it's about the happiness that blooms when you care for something that, in return, gives back beauty, food, and peace. By introducing Dorothy, we see that you don't need fancy equipment or strict routines to stay strong. Just a little patch of earth, some patience, and the willingness to keep growing. Can you relate to Dorothy? Do you have a plant or flower that makes you feel the same way? Share your story below. Your garden might inspire someone else to start. Benefit number 1, physical health. Did you know that every time you step into your garden, you're actually giving your body a gentle workout without even thinking about it? Gardening is one of the best forms of low-impact exercise, especially for seniors. Instead of straining on heavy gym machines or running on hard pavement, your garden naturally helps you move in ways that strengthen your body while protecting your joints. Think about it. When you pull weeds, you're using your arm and hand muscles in a way that builds grip strength, which is essential as we age. When you water your plants with a can or hose, that light lifting improves circulation and keeps your upper body active without overexertion. And when you bend to plant seeds or stretch to prune a rose bush, you're working on flexibility and balance, 2 things that directly lower the risk of falls, one of the biggest concerns for older adults. But here's something most people overlook. Gardening doesn't feel like exercise. You're not counting reps or watching the clock. You're just enjoying the fresh air, the sun on your face, and the satisfaction of tending to living things. And that enjoyment makes you more likely to keep doing it, which is the real secret to long-term health. The health benefits are backed by research, too. Studies show that gardening for just 30 minutes a day can burn as many calories as walking or light aerobics, while also lowering blood pressure and improving heart health. The movements are gentle, repetitive, and purposeful, perfect for keeping joints lubricated and muscles engaged without unnecessary strain. And here's something seniors often tell us: the simple routines of gardening, digging, raking, reaching, and squatting help them feel more confident in their daily lives. Carrying groceries, standing from a chair, or climbing a step feels easier because the body is kept active in natural, practical ways. So if you've ever thought, "I'm too stiff to garden," the truth might surprise you. Gardening itself may be one of the best remedies for that stiffness. Every stretch, every bend, every careful movement is like telling your body, stay strong, stay flexible, stay balanced. And the best part? You don't need expensive equipment, a gym membership, or even a large plot of land. Whether it's a few pots on the porch or a full backyard garden, your body reaps the same rewards. Now here's the real surprise. While your body is staying strong, something even more powerful is happening inside your brain when you garden. And this is where the story gets really interesting. But what happens inside your brain when you garden is even more surprising. Benefit number 2, brain and memory boost. Here's something that often surprises people. Gardening doesn't just keep your body active, it keeps your brain sharp, too. In fact, research shows that gardening can reduce the risk of dementia by as much as 36%. That's not just a small improvement. That's life-changing. Why does this happen? Well, every time you step into your garden, your brain gets a workout just as much as your muscles. Think about it. You're planning where each plant will go, remembering when you last watered, solving problems like how to keep pests away, or deciding which fertilizer works best. These are all cognitive skills, memory, planning, and problem solving, being exercised in real time. And just like physical activity strengthens your body, these mental challenges strengthen your brain. Even small tasks matter. Labeling your plants gives your memory cues and structure. Keeping a notebook or calendar for watering schedules, planting times, and bloom cycles helps you stay organized. And the joy of recognizing that your efforts paid off, the first bloom, the ripened tomato, reinforces positive brain chemistry that boosts mood and motivation. And here's the wonderful thing. Gardening is multisensory. The smell of soil, the sight of colors, the sound of birds, the touch of leaves, all of these awaken the brain in ways no crossword puzzle ever could. Scientists know that engaging multiple senses at once strengthens neural connections, helping memory stay sharper for longer. But beyond science, think of the stories we've all seen. Seniors who once struggled to remember dates or names suddenly recall the Latin names of their flowers. Others who felt foggy or distracted find themselves calmer and more focused after a morning in the garden. The garden gives the brain structure, challenge, and reward, the perfect recipe for mental health. So if you've ever wondered whether gardening is just a hobby, the answer is no. It's one of the simplest, most enjoyable ways to keep your mind active, your memory sharp, and your focus steady, without ever sitting at a desk or doing boring drills. And here's where I'd love to hear from you. Have you noticed gardening sharpens your memory or focus? Share your story below. It may inspire someone watching who needs encouragement. You never know who might read your comment and decide to give gardening a try because of your experience. The takeaway? Every time you pick up that trowel or check on your plants, you're not just helping your flowers grow, you're helping your brain grow stronger, too. And we're only halfway through because what gardening does for your emotions may be the most healing benefit of all. Have you noticed gardening sharpens your memory or focus? Share your story below. It may inspire someone watching. Benefit number 3, mental well-being. Now let's talk about what might be the most powerful benefit of all. What gardening does for your mental well-being. Because while a garden grows food and flowers, it also grows something far more precious, peace of mind. Modern life, even for seniors, can be stressful. Doctor's appointments, bills, loneliness, or just the daily noise of the world can weigh heavily on us. But when you step into your garden, all of that begins to fade. The act of touching soil, of hearing birds sing, of feeling sunlight on your skin, these aren't just pleasant experiences. Science shows they actually lower stress hormones, reduce depression, and boost overall mood. Sunlight, for example, stimulates your body to produce vitamin D, which plays a direct role in regulating mood and preventing seasonal depression. The natural movements of gardening release endorphins, the same feel-good chemicals, triggered by exercise. And the quiet focus of tending plants creates a mindful state, similar to meditation, that calms the nervous system and brings a sense of inner balance. But beyond the science, there's something deeply emotional about gardening. It gives you a sense of purpose. When you care for a plant, you're reminded that life, in all its beauty, continues to grow and thrive. For many seniors, especially those who may feel isolated, that living connection can be profoundly healing. Think about the joy of watching a seed you planted sprout for the very first time, or the comfort of walking outside and seeing color and life greet you in the morning. These little moments bring peace, gratitude, and even hope, feelings that protect against anxiety and sadness. And here's something else. Gardening isn't just about the plants. It's about the stories that grow with them. The rosebush that reminds you of your mother, the tomatoes you share with a neighbor, the lavender that fills your home with a soothing scent. These connections make gardening more than a hobby. It becomes therapy for the soul. So if you've ever felt restless, anxious, or weighed down by life, try spending even 20 minutes in the garden. Dig your hands into the soil. Listen to the birds. Let the sunlight warm your face. You'll discover that it's not just your plants that flourish, it's your spirit. Because at the end of the day, gardening isn't only about growing vegetables or flowers. It's about growing peace of mind. And if you thought these benefits were powerful, wait until you see how gardening strengthens something even more precious: your relationships and sense of community. Benefit number 4, social connection. One of the most overlooked treasures of gardening isn't found in the soil at all. It's found in the friendships that grow along the way. Because gardening doesn't just connect us to plants, it connects us to people. For many seniors, loneliness is a silent struggle. Studies show that isolation can affect health as much as smoking or poor diet. But step into a community garden, or even just share a cutting with a neighbor, and that loneliness begins to melt away. Gardening becomes a bridge, a way to start conversations, exchange tips, and build bonds that might last a lifetime. Think about the joy of trading seeds with a fellow gardener. It's more than a swap of plants. It's an exchange of stories, traditions, and a piece of yourself. Sharing tomatoes over the fence, swapping a rose cutting, or simply asking, "How are your cucumbers doing this year?" creates friendships rooted in generosity. Community gardens are especially powerful. They're not just about producing food. They're places where laughter, advice, and encouragement flow as freely as the water from the hose. Seniors who garden in these spaces often say they feel a sense of belonging, of being needed, and of contributing to something larger than themselves. And here's the beautiful part. Gardening together doesn't require perfection. Your rows don't need to be straight. Your flowers don't need to bloom all at once. What matters is the connection, the shared joy of seeing life grow. The plants become the backdrop, and the relationships become the harvest. Even at home, gardening with family creates lasting bonds. A grandparent teaching a grandchild how to plant a seed isn't just passing on knowledge. They're planting memories that will bloom for decades. These shared moments remind us that gardening is never truly solitary. So if you've ever felt alone, or wondered how to reconnect with others, consider your garden as an open invitation. Invite a neighbor to help weed, gift a friend a potted herb, or join a local gardening club. The friendships you grow may be just as nourishing as the vegetables and flowers you tend. And I'd love to hear from you. Do you garden with neighbors or family? Tag them in the comments and let them know they're your gardening buddy. Your story could inspire someone else to reach out and create their own circle of connection. Because in the end, gardening doesn't just fill your basket. It fills your heart with the gift of companionship. Do you garden with neighbors or family? Tag them in the comments and let them know they're your gardening buddy. Benefit number 5, purpose and legacy. Finally, let's talk about perhaps the most meaningful benefit of all, the sense of purpose and legacy that gardening gives. Because at the end of the day, gardening is never just about plants. It's about what those plants represent and the stories they carry forward. For many seniors, life can sometimes feel like it's slowing down, or that their role in the family or community is changing. But when you step into your garden, you're reminded that you still have something precious to give. Every seed you plant, every tip you share, every tradition you pass down, it's part of the legacy you're building for the next generation. Think of a grandparent teaching a grandchild how to plant a seed. It may seem like a small moment, but it's far more than that. That child will always remember who taught them the patience of waiting for a sprout, the joy of the first tomato, or the smell of basil crushed between their fingers. That knowledge becomes a living inheritance, not written in books, but carried in the heart. Gardening traditions are full of wisdom: the right time to plant, the homemade compost trick, the recipe for turning cucumbers into pickles. When you pass these along, you're not just sharing practical advice, you're sharing yourself, your history, and your values. And here's the beautiful part: gardens themselves become living memory books. A rose bush planted in honor of a loved one, a row of sunflowers that return each summer, or the fig tree that's been in the family for decades. Each plant holds a story. Each bloom is a reminder. Every season, the garden whispers, life continues, and so does love. This sense of purpose is powerful for mental and emotional well-being. Psychologists call it generativity, the human need to nurture and guide the next generation. Gardening fulfills that need in the most natural, beautiful way possible. It reminds us that no matter our age, we are still contributors, still teachers, still leaving behind something that will outlast us. So when you kneel in the soil, remember, you're not just planting seeds for today. You're planting stories, traditions, and memories that may carry forward for decades. Your hands in the soil are writing a love letter to the future. Because in the end, every plant is a story, every seed a memory carried forward. And that is the true legacy of a gardener. So yes, gardening is exercise, but it's also memory care, stress relief, friendship, and legacy. A single garden bed can keep your body strong, your mind sharp, and your spirit alive. In every weed pulled, every flower planted, every tomato ripened, there's a quiet reminder. Life doesn't stop blooming, and neither do we. Your garden is more than soil and seeds. It's a sanctuary for health, a classroom for wisdom, a gathering place for friends, and a gift you pass forward. And whether your garden is a few pots on a balcony or a full backyard, it holds the same power to heal, to connect, to inspire. Like if you believe in the healing power of gardens, comment with your favorite gardening memory. Share this video with someone who could use a little sunshine today. Subscribe for more timeless stories and wisdom from the Evergreen Seniors.